You can create a new assignment from the Learning Assignment Tool landing page. At any point, you can click Save Draft to save your work and return to it later. In the Setup tab, choose whether this is a standard or dynamic assignment. Settings in later tabs vary based on the type of assignment. The title is a required field. We recommend you develop a naming standard that makes them easy to identify in the future. Then, use the description field to provide additional information. Next, add the training you want to assign. Click Select Training. Then, search by title or use filters to narrow your results. Once you find the training, click the checkbox. Then, select to add your choices. Back on the Setup page, you may add comments that will appear in the learner's transcript history. If any of the training items you selected have pre-work, post-work, prerequisites, training equivalencies, or is a past session, a warning message appears and you can take action if needed. The Options tab lets you configure how the assignment rolls out to users. For dynamic assignments, you can enable dynamic removal. You'll only see this section if you choose dynamic as the assignment type and you have the permission to manage dynamic removal. Training assignment workflow lets you bypass availability and approvals set for the learning object in the course catalog. When you choose Assigned and Approved, the assignment overrides any approvals required at the training level. Some LO-specific workflows are still respected as long as they don't conflict. For example, if Register upon approval is selected at the LO level and Assigned and Approve is selected here, the training goes on to the user's transcript in a registered status. The prerequisite option allows you to choose whether to exclude users who have not completed prerequisites. You have 4 options in email settings. Once you make your selection, this message area tells you whether changes can be made to these settings after you submit the assignment. Note that training-specific and custom emails trigger for each learning object in your assignment. So if you add 3 LOs, 3 separate emails will be sent. To send a single email for the entire assignment, select Ad hoc Email. Settings on the Schedule tab vary based on the assignment type. For standard assignments, you can configure the processing start date, training start date, and training due date. For dynamic assignments, you set up the processing frequency and recurrence. The processing start date sets both the date and the time that the processing occurs. The time you set may be important if you need a dynamic assignment to process on a daily basis. To enroll everyone that meets the user criteria as soon as possible, make sure you select a start time that occurs after your dynamic groups process. If you select the first option, daily processing will always occur around the same time you submitted the assignment. Recurrence lets you enroll users more than once. Use cases for recurrence include compliance or regulatory programs that need to be assigned to learners every year. On the Users page, you define criteria for who to include in the assignment. The Select Users flyout lets you search and filter for organizational units and specific users. You can also add all users in your portal with the All Users link, or upload a list of specific users. With Assign New Occurrence, you choose how the assignment impacts users who already have the training on their transcript. If a curriculum is part of the assignment, the option to Maintain Progress appears, letting users with the same version of child LOs retain their progress. Curriculum reassignment will always provide users with the latest version of all child training. The Override All Prior Due Dates setting will overwrite the due date if the training is present on the user's transcript as a standalone training or is nested within a curriculum. To see a detailed list of users who match the criteria, click the Generate Initial User List. If the training is already on the user's transcript, the occurrence field will show how many times they've been assigned the training before. When the Next button is clicked, warning messages can appear based on your user selection. Administrators can manage the appearance of this warning message on the Assignment Tool Preferences page. The display warning can be configured for a percentage of active users or a number of users selected for an assignment. If the Restrict Submission toggle is on, only users who have the necessary permission and constraints will be able to submit learning assignments that meets or exceeds the high user count specified. Users who do not have the necessary permission and constraints will be redirected to save the learning assignment as a draft or cancel the assignment. Administrators that have the ability to submit high user count assignments will be able to continue through the process. The Confirm tab lets you review the settings you've selected prior to submitting. It's important to review all sections. There are limited modifications that can be made after both standard and dynamic learning assignments have been created. These options vary based on the assignment type. For example, titles can be edited for both, but emails can only be edited for dynamic learning assignments. The Confirm page is read-only. If edits need to be made, you can click the Previous button or use the tabs in the navigation to go back to the page where you want to make edits. After you review your selections, you can finally submit the assignment. Administrators with the ability to create and submit high user count assignments can potentially have two warning dialogues appear: high user count and insufficient seats. The insufficient seats warning appears when you are about to assign more users than seats available for a session. You can increase the session seats through the warning message. Once you click Submit, you will be redirected to the assignment summary page, and the assignment will begin to process.